President Donald Trump stepped off Marine One onto the grounds of a military hospital, his visit unannounced, a quiet gesture to honor those who had served. Inside the facility, known for caring for wounded veterans, doctors, nurses, and soldiers, moved swiftly through the halls. Dr. Evelyn Carter, a young and devoted military physician, had just finished stitching a soldier's wound, unaware her path was about to cross with the president's. As Trump walked past, he heard a sudden, urgent medical call. Dr. Carter rushed into a nearby room where 98-year-old Helen Parker, a retired Navy officer, was gasping for air, her lungs failing fast. Her vitals were crashing, but without a moment's hesitation, Dr. Carter took command. "Increase her oxygen now. We need to stabilize her," she ordered calmly. The nurses moved swiftly under her direction. Just outside the door, President Trump, who had been about to step in, paused, watching silently as the young doctor worked with laser focus. After several tense moments, Helen's breathing began to steady. Dr. Carter let out a quiet sigh of relief, unaware the president had seen it all. Then Trump stepped forward. "Doctor, you handled that well," he said. Dr. Carter turned, startled. Seeing the president in front of her felt surreal. "Mr. President, I didn't know you were here." Trump smiled. "I wasn't expecting to see a hero in action today." He nodded toward Helen. "How is she?" Dr. Carter adjusted the IV line. "She's stable, but still fragile. That woman's fought through more than most ever will." Just then, Helen's eyes fluttered open, her gaze settling on Trump. With faint recognition, Trump gently took Helen's hand as she whispered, "Never thought I'd meet a president in my final days." He smiled warmly. "You're not leaving us yet, Helen. America still needs people like you." Helen gave a faint smile. "I was a Navy nurse in World War II, treated wounded soldiers under fire, lost a lot of good men." Trump listened, intently. He had met many veterans, but something about Helen's presence struck him deeply. Dr. Carter quietly added, "She's one of the last living Navy nurses from the war." Helen's voice, though weak, carried strength. "Serving others, that's what kept me going." Trump nodded with respect. "That's what keeps America strong. People like you." He and Dr. Carter exchanged a look. A silent bond formed, in shared admiration for service and sacrifice. Sitting beside Helen, Trump reflected aloud, "You remind me of my uncle, John G. Trump. He used his mind to serve America. You used your hands and heart. Both are heroes." Helen gently squeezed his hand. "Heroes don't wear capes, Mr. President. They wear scrubs, uniforms, and sometimes business suits." Dr. Carter smiled, moved by Helen's quiet wisdom. In that hospital room, titles meant nothing, only humanity did. For the first time, Trump looked at Dr. Carter and saw more than just a physician. He saw a leader. He asked her to introduce him to more patients. After a moment's pause, she led him to Sergeant Kyle Dawson, a Marine who had lost his leg in combat. Kyle didn't look up. "I don't need a photo op, Mr. President." Trump pulled up a chair. "I'm not here for a photo. I'm here for you." Kyle clenched his jaw. "My unit, some didn't make it. Why did I?" Dr. Carter answered softly, "Survival isn't a curse, Kyle. It's a responsibility." His eyes filled with tears. For the first time, he felt seen. Trump leaned in. "You think you're broken? The strongest people I know have scars." Kyle's voice cracked. "But I can't go back to who I was." Dr. Carter placed a hand on his shoulder. "Maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe you're meant to become someone new." Trump nodded. "America isn't built by those who never fall. It's built by those who rise again and keep going," Trump said. Kyle finally looked up, meeting his gaze. Could he really rebuild? Dr. Carter gave a gentle nod. "You already have." A flicker of hope lit in Kyle's eyes. That night, alone in her office, Dr. Carter sat in silence, her thoughts heavy. She had joined the military because of her brother, a soldier killed in Afghanistan. Saving lives gave her purpose, but she could never save him. The knock on her door broke the silence. It was Trump. "Something tells me you carry more than a stethoscope, doctor." She exhaled. "Caring comes with a cost." Trump nodded. "But it also changes lives." For the first time, she wondered, had she impacted more lives than she realized? As Trump turned to leave, he paused. "Dr. Carter, I need people like you on my advisory team. Will you join me?" She froze. "Me? I belong here, in this hospital." He smiled. "Maybe. Or maybe you belong where your voice can reach even more." Her heart pounded. Was she ready for something greater? A memory, a life she'd touched, a lesson she'd learned. As she passed by patients and nurses who had become like family, Dr. Carter felt the weight of the decision settle in her chest. In her office, the offer letter still lay on her desk. "Serve where you're needed most," Helen's voice echoed again. She picked up the phone and called her mentor, Captain Margaret Hayes, the retired Navy officer who had once guided her through the hardest days of med school. "What do you think?" she asked. Margaret chuckled softly. "Leadership isn't about where you are. It's about what you do. Maybe it's time for your next battlefield." Taking a deep breath, Dr. Carter nodded to herself. Maybe it was. The next morning, she walked the hospital halls one final time before boarding a plane to Washington, carrying not just a stethoscope, but a calling. "What I've seen, you'd understand why this matters," Dr. Carter said, her voice calm but resolute. The room fell silent. No one expected the young military doctor to push back, but she did, with conviction born from the battlefield, not a boardroom. Earlier that day, she had visited Kyle in physical therapy. He was struggling with his prosthetic. "You're leaving?" he asked, surprised. "I'll still fight for you, just in a different way," she replied. Kyle sighed. "Guess we both have to move forward." Dr. Carter smiled. "You're stronger than you think, Kyle. Keep fighting." Now, as she stepped onto the plane to D.C., a rush of fear and determination filled her. Her new mission had begun. The moment she entered the White House, its grandeur and weight settled on her shoulders. Trump met her at the entrance. "Welcome to the real battlefield, Doc." In the war room of policies and politics, Dr. Carter wasn't just another voice. She was the voice that wouldn't be ignored. "If you saw what I've seen, you'd know this isn't just a statistic. It's life or death," Dr. Carter said, holding her ground. Trump smirked, impressed. She wasn't afraid to challenge power, and that's exactly why he brought her on board. Wasting no time, Dr. Carter drafted proposals to improve PTSD care and speed up medical aid for injured soldiers. But Washington wasn't a hospital. It moved slowly, tangled in politics and pushback. "We've managed fine for years," one official argued. Trump cut in. "And how's that working out?" He turned to Carter. "Tell them why this matters." She spoke of Kyle, of Helen, real stories, not statistics. The room went quiet. Finally, Trump nodded. "We're making this happen." In that moment, she saw the real weight of leadership. Later that evening, her phone rang. It was Kyle. "Doc, I took my first steps today." Her eyes filled with tears. "That's incredible, Kyle. I'm proud of you." "Thought you should know," he said quietly. It reminded her, this is why she was here. It wasn't about meetings or policies, it was about the people. Before hanging up, Kyle hesitated. "Do you think I could be more than just a wounded soldier?" Dr. Carter smiled warmly. "I think you can be anything." That night, she set a new goal: to create opportunities for wounded soldiers beyond the battlefield. Trump arranged a visit to Walter Reed Military Hospital. As Dr. Carter walked through the rooms, she met soldiers in recovery, some with visible wounds, others bearing invisible scars. One soldier, Lieutenant James Monroe, had lost both legs. "They say I'll never feel whole again," he said quietly. Dr. Carter knelt beside him. "They're wrong." Trump watched closely as she spoke, not just as a doctor, but as someone who truly understood. Before leaving, Trump turned to her. "You don't just treat wounds, Doc, you rebuild people." In that moment, Dr. Carter realized her purpose was even greater than she'd imagined. Inspired by her visit, Dr. Carter proposed a new initiative called Beyond the Uniform, a program designed to help veterans find purpose after their service. She expected resistance, but Trump immediately backed it. "This is what America needs," he said. "Let's get it done." With his support, doors opened, companies pledged jobs, universities offered scholarships, and hospitals trained medics. With military backgrounds, Kyle called again, eager, "I want to join your program." Dr. Carter smiled. "Welcome to your next mission, Kyle." As she finalized the plans, she realized she wasn't just making policies. She was changing lives. One day, Trump summoned Dr. Carter to the Oval Office, where Helen Parker, the 98-year-old Navy veteran, was waiting. "Doc, I told you to serve where you're needed most," Helen said, smiling. Tears filled Dr. Carter's eyes. Trump handed Helen a Medal of Honor certificate for lifetime service. Helen's hands trembled. "I don't deserve this." Trump shook his head. "America disagrees." Dr. Carter understood then. Some battles aren't won with weapons, but with compassion, resilience, and the will to make a difference. Months later, at a medical school graduation, she spotted Kyle standing, tall in a white coat. "Dr. Kyle Dawson," the announcer declared, and the room erupted in applause. Dr. Carter clapped, pride swelling in her chest. Kyle had come so far. After the ceremony, Kyle hugged her tightly. "I wouldn't be here without you." She shook, her head smiling. "No, Kyle, you did this." Trump, watching from the crowd, smiled and said, "Told you, Doc, you're a leader." For the first time, Dr. Carter truly believed it. Her mission had never been about leaving medicine. It was about expanding it. She visited Helen one last time. "They still let me boss people around at the hospital," Helen joked. Dr. Carter laughed. Helen grew serious. "You're not just a doctor, Evelyn. You're a force of change." Tears welled up in Dr. Carter's eyes. Helen squeezed her hand. "You did what I couldn't, you made them listen." Dr. Carter whispered, "I had great teachers." Helen smiled. "Now go teach the next generation." As she left, Dr. Carter felt the torch had been passed. Years later, standing at a podium, Dr. Carter looked out over the crowd. The Beyond the Uniform initiative had helped thousands of veterans rebuild their lives. Trump, now retired, watched proudly. "Service doesn't end when the battle is over," Dr. Carter said. "It's what we do afterward that defines us." She locked eyes with Kyle, now a doctor helping others just as she once helped him. Helen's words echoed in her mind. "Serve where you're needed most." Dr. Carter smiled, knowing she had found her place and that the mission was far from over.